Mahmoud Sherbiny is from Cairo, Egypt, and is married to Nicole Sherbiny from Los Angeles. Where is he after 90-day fiancé? Happily ever after 90-day fiancé. Happily ever after? Star Mahmoud Sherbiny moved to the U.S. to reunite with his wife Nicole Sherbiny in Season 8. Nicole is a 40-year-old is a clothing reseller and food delivery driver who first starred in 90-Day Fiancé. The Other Way Season 4 with her 31-year-old husband, Mahmoud. Nicole and Mahmoud had made it clear that their marriage would surely end in divorce as they documented their ups and downs on reality TV. While Nicole tried her best to save her marriage, Mahmoud dismissed her feelings and efforts. Mahmoud wanted to be married to somebody who could live up to his standards. He wanted to change everything about Nicole. Mahmoud wanted Nicole to cover her body and cover her hair, which she agreed to. Nicole said she wasn't supposed to hug anyone else she could potentially marry. Nicole said there was a new rule that she didn't know existed, but she was breaking it every time she turned around. They had fight after fight as Nicole refused to change into a completely different person. The solution to their problem was Mahmoud coming to the U.S. 5 years ago. Nicole started learning meditation and spirituality after moving to Los Angeles and failing at a few fashion jobs she tried her hand at. Nicole was on a spiritual singles website where she found an ad for a soul journey to Egypt. Nicole went to spiritual sites and did deep meditation. She even went inside the pyramids. Nicole thought Egypt was truly magical, but did not expect it to change her life forever. Nicole was shopping for fabric on the last day of her trip and wandered into a fabric shop. Nicole described how she felt after first seeing Mahmoud. Mahmoud asked Nicole if she liked Egypt, and she said she loved Egypt and wanted to stay there. Mahmoud said she should stay in Egypt and be his wife. Nicole had thought Mahmoud was being funny. They exchanged social media accounts and Nicole had a flight the next day at 10 p.m. Nicole spent most of her day together with Mahmoud. She thought about staying there but didn't. However, Nicole and Mahmoud were talking every single chance they could after she got back. They had now started falling in love. It hadn't been more than 5 days since Nicole was in the U.S. when Mahmoud asked her if she would really go back to Egypt and marry him. Nicole had not thought about being a wife before. She had been single and independent. 7 days later, Nicole was on a plane back to Egypt to marry Mahmoud and be with him forever. Nicole and Mahmoud married at the Justice Department. They had an actual wedding party later. Nicole had not told anyone at home about Mahmoud. She was so madly in love with Mahmoud and was so excited about this new life that she was about to live. She thought that the magic was going to be like that always living in Egypt. However, she was in for a rude awakening. It was much different than she had thought. Nicole was in Egypt for 2 months, and she needed to get out of there to go back to America. Nicole decided to go back to Egypt while filming 90-Day Fiancé. The Other Way. Nicole had struggled with culture shock the first time. Within a week, she realized how different it was to live in Egypt than it was to visit. She didn't drive or speak the language. After 2 months of being married, Nicole applied for Mahmoud's spousal visa so he could come to the U.S. in the meantime. Nicole went back and forth 6 times as things still 11 months after being married. Nicole told Mahmoud that she wanted a divorce. She canceled Mahmoud's visa application and blocked him. Nicole and Mahmoud got back together while filming The Other Way Season 4. The couple had begun fighting the moment Nicole landed in Cairo, as Mahmoud had told her that her shirt was too small. It was just the beginning of their fights, which took place throughout the season. Nicole even shoved Mahmoud during one of the fights that turned physical. Nicole and Mahmoud announced he was coming to the U.S. during the tell all started to fall apart. They fought all the time about everything. Mahmoud was shown packing his bags to move to America on 90-Day Fiancé. Happily Ever After, Season 8, Episode 1. Mahmoud was nervous because he didn't know anyone apart from Nicole, and wondered if he would make any Muslim friends and find a mosque to go pray. Mahmoud said he loved his wife and could do anything to be with her. Nicole hoped for Mahmoud to find a way to be Muslim and accept things around him that weren't necessarily a part of his religion. Nicole had a placard reading, "Welcome home, Mahmoud, my love," with her at the airport when she ran towards her husband to hug him. It appears Mahmoud was not in the mood for PDA as he pushed Nicole away when she tried to kiss him on the lips. It was perhaps a sign of things to come. 90-Day Fiancé bloggers Mary Pence and John Yates reported the shocking news about Mahmoud's arrest in February 2024. Mahmoud was arrested and charged with misdemeanor domestic violence, according to The Ashley. The incident took place on February 21, 2022. Mahmoud was booked into Los Angeles Northeast Division Station on Wednesday at 2:50 a.m. The booking did not confirm if Nicole was the alleged victim. Mahmoud was being held for $200,000. He was reportedly released on the same night by a friend who paid his bail. Mahmoud has a court date set for mid-March. 8 days after Mahmoud's arrest, Nicole took to Instagram to address the situation. While Nicole didn't really talk directly about Mahmoud, but seemed to suggest what led to the incident. Nicole shared a post from the Musawa movement page on Instagram. The post talked about Policy Brief 8, which intends to end violence against women in Muslim families. Nicole's post mentioned that violence against women is a global phenomenon that cuts across all cultures, religions, countries, and contexts. It was originally shared in November 2023. Mahmoud had wished Nicole a happy 5th anniversary on February 1, 2024. Mahmoud mentioned that words couldn't mention how grateful he was to have Nicole by his side. "You bring joy, love, and laughter to my days," Mahmoud added. He said he cherished every moment they spent together. Mahmoud thanked Nicole for being his rock, confident, and his best friend. "Here's to many more years of love and happiness together," Mahmoud wrote as he added that he loved his beautiful wife endlessly. Nicole is welcoming Mahmoud to America in 90-Day Fiancé. Happily Ever After? Season 8's premiere episode. Mahmoud was heartbroken to be leaving his mother Zainab behind. He had never been away from his family and was sobbing away as he left Egypt. Interestingly, the trailer for the season showed Nicole trying to locate Mahmoud as he'd run off in the middle of the night with a suitcase and Nicole's belongings. Still, it didn't mean that Mahmoud went anywhere because he was in America, at least until February this year.